Good afternoon, Community Church. My name is Wade Bolin. I'm one of the pastors here, and I'm happy to have you join us online for this special Wednesday edition of our Facebook Live. Today, I'm pleased to have Gail Maidment, the Executive Director of Generations Christian Education, with us today. And I want to have you right now begin to put questions in on the Facebook stream because Gail will be taking some of those questions. She's going to be talking about tips for parents to work with their kids in this season, and also ways parents can nurture the faith of their children. Before we go to some music, Gail, do you have any opening words you'd like to share with us?
So over the last 5 weeks, we've had schools close here in Hong Kong. But we're joining over 300 million children worldwide that are out of school. And so for generations, we have about 800 students. And this has been a great journey, a huge learning journey for our parents, our staff, and our teachers. So it's a big challenge, but great opportunities.
Oh, for sure, definitely. That's a staggering number, actually, to think about. So do put any questions you might have for Gail, and let's transition into some time of worship now. Thank you, Anita, for leading us in that. Welcome back. I'm with Gail Maidment, who really has a whole lifelong career in working with children in the educational space and faith development space. If you have questions for Gail, do put those online, but we have a couple of questions already that you've prepared for. First, just some tips for parents in this season and working with their kids.
Okay, so I'm really grateful Community Church has started these sessions because there's a common theme, and what I wanted to start with for tips was to look at this whole time of working with your children is all about relationships. And two of the things that in the last couple of weeks Steve and Wade have been talking about is being that non-anxious presence. So I would say first tip, parents, please work with yourself. Be, as much as possible, be that non-anxious presence. Try and reflect on your feelings, acknowledge them, work with them, think, reflect, spend time praying, and so you can be that non-anxious presence.
Sounds like you've talked to parents directly about this before, Gail.
Yes, I actually bumped into a parent last Saturday, and she was saying, I was so opposed to the online learning at this when it first started. I thought I cannot do it, and But she was brave and she spoke to a principal and she listened, and then she said, instead of cannot, I said, I can do it. And she said, I'm the best fan of this now. And she said it's the most positive experience for her and her family. The second tip I really want to talk about is having a normalized schedule. We've been discussing this with our senior leadership team actually yesterday, and the parents that are succeeding with the online learning and those that are being challenged. And what we discussed was that those parents who have a normalized schedule. Now, what do you mean? What does that mean? Well, as much as possible in your day and your week, provide structure, because that provides security. Teachers are great at structure. So what does that look like in your home? So it means, depending on the age and stage, whether creating a visual schedule, have your daily routines like your breakfast, getting dressed in the morning, although it's so tempting to stay in your pajamas and sort of laze around, it's really important to sort of gear yourself up and be ready for the day. So set up a workspace for your child or your children and yourself, because often you are working from home as well. And have everything ready so that you can have your Google Hangout or your Zoom calls. Again, depending on the stage of the child, they may need a little bit more instruction, or they might need a little bit more help. But let me tell you, 3- and 4-year-olds are getting this Google Hangout, which no one thought they could. Yeah.
No, that's great. Those are some good, healthy routines that I'm sure families would benefit from. It's probably easy just to slide into sleeping in a little bit later, staying in your pajamas. So, yeah.
Okay. Some other things are to create regular breaks, because we all know sitting at the computer or the tablet for X amount of hours is not good for us. So even in those schedules, create get-up times, walk around. If you feel okay to go down to your podium or to the park, do those sorts of things, because the body needs to be active as well. At the end of the school day, tidy up time. Don't leave the house full of school things, and just put them aside so that you can really have your home back to a home and try and make those boundaries. And then create still your after school activities, whether it's children play with puzzles or what have you, or interact with their friends. It might need to be in a different way through FaceTime or whatever that works. Another thing is important for everyone in the family to have space. So, for example, set the clock for 20 minutes, and then mum or dad can read or do their own thing, and the child can also do their thing. And so everybody has their own space and time to decompress. And also bedtimes. Keep bedtimes regular. We live in a flat like everyone else does, and the kids upstairs are not going to bed at a regular time. We hear them a lot, but it's really important to keep scheduled bedtimes and rituals of reading stories, listening to the children, how they feel about these things during these days, getting storybooks that relate to whether it's being afraid or being courageous or being part of our community. Yeah.
No, that's good, being able to recognize some of the emotions that they might have in this time. We've got a comment from Sonia that these are not just good tips for kids, but actually good tips for parents too, working from home. So for sure.
Yeah, we're all a child of God, so I think we need to put those into practice ourselves. Yeah.
No, that's great. Those are some excellent tips. And if you do have questions, put those online. But maybe we can shift gears a little bit to the faith component, Gail. This is definitely a part of what is on your heart, really lifelong, working with kids. And what would you recommend for parents to help nurture their child's faith?
It's a great question, because our work and our life is integrated, and we want to teach that to children. So I was reminded about the verse from Deuteronomy, when you walk and you sit, and and you talk with your children about these things. And I was thinking from a practical standing in Hong Kong right now is we have opportunity to be part of the One campaign. So to do that with your child or your children, your family, your helper, all sit around and do that together, that would be really powerful.
For those of you who aren't familiar with the One campaign, it's if you look on your phone and your Google or Apple store, it's One Hearing the Word, and it's a One logo there on a blue background, and we're following this journey through Matthew and Ephesians, and there's a reading each day, plus lots of activities. So.
Yeah. There's one activity that's got a map of Hong Kong, and I thought that's something also to take it from just yourself to pray for others as well. Daily devotionals with your family. This is one of my favorite ones from Sally Lloyd-Jones called Thoughts to Make Your Heart Sing. They're just little, they're great photos, etching digital prints, and something that's meaningful for a family and the child particularly. So I'm sure that there's those different sorts of things you can use. I also was thinking, listening to praise and worship music, and I'm really grateful that Anita's put together the CCHK seasonal Spotify or podcasts. So use those, put those in the background, so that feeds the children's soul as well. Prayer cards or prayer, just different. Do you want to open that for me? Someone gave me this as a little vitamin jar, and it's got little different verses, and kids can't get one out. You could pick one verse and talk about that as a family, or if you've got a little promise book, promise box with different verses. This one says, do not forsake wisdom. She will protect you. Love her and she'll watch over you. So you can talk about these things as a family. Each day, if you want to pull out one at lunchtime or one at dinner, whatever makes sense for you.
Oh, that's great. I got do not fear, for I am with you, Isaiah 41.
We can also memorize scripture, Philippians 4, whatever is lovely. We've been concentrating on that, but that could be a fun activity as well. Another idea is that I've found families do is developing gratitude and thankfulness. And it doesn't mean you have to sit down and say, I'm thankful for this or that. But you can do post-its and put them on the wall. You can, for younger children, you can jump up and down what I'm thankful for. But try and get that attitude of gratitude within your family at this stage. Another important thing is serving together. And we have the peace boxes. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so our peace boxes, it's a way that we can give back to those in the community with needs. We're collecting them through the last Sunday of March. And it's basically a shoebox. It doesn't have to be in a box. You can put it in a bag. You can go to our website or email the office with things to pack in those things, items that are helpful, whether it's for a child, a family, or the elderly. So a way to engage them during this season of doing something for somebody else.
Yeah, so thinking outside. Also thinking of maybe family or friends that they cannot see at the moment. They could draw a picture or write a letter to them, take a picture and post it. So trying to think outside of themselves is also important. And the final thing I've been thinking about is nurturing hope as a family, because this is not going to go on forever. I was here during SARS, and SARS did stop, and we made it through. And one activity that one of our kindergartens is doing is creating a little Easter box and with seeds in it. So they're sending it home to the families and looking at what can we look forward to, seeing these seeds grow, and what can we dream about for our next season. And so I would also think as families, what can we do to nurture hope for the next season? And that would be individual, things that you're looking forward to. Maybe it's seeing family in the summer. Maybe it's a place that you really love to go to that you haven't been to before. Maybe it's a service project. Lots of different things, but think about how to nurture hope. Yeah.
That's excellent, Gail. Thank you so much. We have another comment online. Janie says this is also a good idea for your adult children, even if they're in the UK. And Gail, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for joining us online. All of these videos are on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. If you go onto Facebook under Community Church's page and you look on the left column, there'll be a place that says video, and you just click that. And all of our videos from the previous week will be there. You can share this with your friends, share this with others who might be looking for some encouragement and some tips during this season. So thank you again, Gail, and thank you, our online community. Have a great rest of your day.